How do you get your life back together after suffering loss? I think it's obvious to say that when one goes through loss or grief or trauma, our life gets a little bit chaotic and it gets a little bit out of order. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. But at some point, we need to start rebuilding. We need to start getting back. We need to start getting things in order again. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. If we haven't met yet, my name is Isabel, and on this channel, we talk all about embracing your weird in order to build a better brand, business, and life. So let's go. Last week, I told you guys why I had taken a month off of YouTube, but I'm back now, and I talked a little bit about grief and loss and everything that entailed. And of course, one of the things that this has impacted is my ability to do things, my energy levels. And this is something that we talk a lot about on this channel because we talk about neurodivergence and chronic illness and how just being a human can cause our energy to fluctuate, and how the world is designed, and most advice is designed on the fact that you would have the same amount of perfect energy every day, and that's just not realistic. But what we haven't talked about yet on this channel is how do we rebuild when we know that we've fallen back, when we know that we've stopped for a while, when we know that we want to get back on track, but we're still exhausted and we're still tired and we're still trying to just get through the day on most days. A while ago, I made a video, which I'll link in the description below, about my 12 tiny thing method. And basically, for those of you who have been here for a while, I divide my life into 12 areas: physical health, mental health, spiritual health, learn, grow, play, and then my business, wealth, lifestyle, home, inner circle, and relationships or community. Inner circle is like my marriage and my dogs, so like innermost, and then relationships or community is friends and family. My 12 tiny thing method is what I apply when I am very low energy or on weeks where I know I'm going to be busy, even if I have all the energy in the world. And basically, it's about finding tiny tasks that can move those areas forward, right? And when I say tiny, I mean tiny. I mean drinking a bottle of water, right? And that would be my tiny task for the week. I didn't even say for the day, I said for the week, right? So those kinds of tasks that are small, usually it's one-off tasks instead of habits. So not necessarily drink a bottle of water, but maybe buy a new water bottle would be the task if my water bottle broke, right? That kind of thing. And the idea is that if I do 12 tiny tasks a week on busy weeks or every week, then even when I'm in a low mood and a low energy, I know that I'm moving my life forward in all of these spaces. Now, I do an even lower energy version of that, where I just choose 6 tiny things a week, which is less than one thing a day. And I just pick 6 areas that I want to focus on. Usually physical and mental health are 2 of those areas, because the idea is to help me get back to being able to do 12 tiny things and then get back to being able to do bigger things, right? I talk all about that in a video, another one, you could go watch that. When I was thinking about how I could start rebuilding my life right now regarding everything that's happened, the first thing I realized was that I wanted to fix my environment, which is, in this case, my home. Because laundry has piled up, dishes have piled up, clutter has piled up, everything has piled up, right? And that's okay, because that is part of life. But if I wanted to get that back, I decided to take my 12 tiny thing method and see if I could apply it instead to my home. It turns out that my home has about 10 areas, right? I have 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, which is it's 2.5 bathrooms. I'm technically counting it as 2 areas. I have the kitchen, the laundry room, the living and dining room, which are basically together, this little office space, and then the balconies. What did I decide to do? Why don't I 12 tiny thing method my own home in order to get back on track with my things? Now, here is the thing. I know that right now my energy levels fluctuate. I also know that when I get excited about something, I want to do all of it at once and don't stop, and then I crash and burn out. So I made rules for myself. Rule number 1, they have to be tiny things, okay? I'm talking, I need to throw away this specific thing. I'm talking, I need to put away this pair of shoes. I'm not talking put away all the shoes. I said this pair of shoes. That counts as a tiny task. Now, is it great if I can put all of them away? Yes, of course that would be great. But what I don't want to fall into is the trap of making bigger tasks for myself that I then won't do when I'm low energy. The other thing I did, that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is I put limits on how much I could do each day. There's minimums and maximums depending on my energy levels. So if I'm on a low energy level day, I have to do one tiny task. Like I said, this could be just put a pair of shoes away. One tiny task. That's my minimum. And my maximum for that day, and this is important for me so that I don't overextend myself, my maximum for that day is 5 minutes timer. So setting a timer for 5 minutes and doing 5 minutes of tiny tasks, whatever those tiny tasks are, right? So maybe instead of putting, one pair of shoes away, I put away 5 pairs of shoes. Great, but that's my max for a low energy day. For a normal energy day, I said 5 tiny tasks and up to 15 minutes on the timer. That's the max. And then for a high energy day, I said 10 tiny tasks is the minimum, or up to 30 minutes on the timer. Now, I know right now that most of my days are low energy. So most of my days I'm going to be sticking to the one tiny task or 5 minutes timer max, right? But what this does for me is it means I get to start recovering my areas. Now, here's the other thing. I'm not aiming to do one task per area per day or something like that. No, because certain areas have more of a priority than other areas. For example, for me, it's more important to get my master bedroom in order than it is to get our guest bedroom, because it's our guest bedroom / hobby room, but it hasn't really been set up yet since we moved. And so we don't really use it other than to store the things that are going to live there when they do. So do I have things to do in there? For sure. Are they a bigger priority than my master bedroom? No, because my master bedroom affects my sleep. And getting my sleep in order will help me have more energy. But also, there's rooms where I have loads of tasks and there's rooms where I have 1 or 2, right? Like I can tell you for the dog's room, I can't think of any tasks right now because the only one I had to do was to transfer their food into the storage boxes. And my husband did that yesterday, and so right now I can't think of any other task. So that means that I can focus instead on more tasks in a room that is a priority, like the kitchen or the master bedroom or something like that. That is it. That is the method, okay? Now, what would I like to ideally do? I would like to ideally do at least 10 tiny tasks a week. That is a little bit more than 1 a day. Right? Or it's 1 a day, and then on 3 days, it's 2 a day, which means that this should be something I could hit even if my entire week is low energy, right? I should be able to hit at least 7 of the 10 and probably the 10. Now, would it be amazing if I suddenly woke up with a lot of energy next week and woke up every single day and had high energy days and did all the things and got my house in order in a single week? Yeah, that would be amazing, but that's also not realistic. I have a lot going on. My home is not the only thing that I have to take care of. I have my dogs and my marriage. I have a concert coming up. I have work, of course, getting back to this YouTube channel. So I have a lot of other things on my plate. But the reason to do the tiny things, and in this case, I'm focusing it on my home, but you can focus it on whatever you want. But the reason for it is because slowly over the weeks, as they go by, my house will start getting back in order, and that will start making me feel better. And that's what I want you to take away from this video. Small actions compounded over time can help us start to rebuild our lives after a tough period. That's what I want you to take. That's what I want you to know so that you can apply it to your own life. Because sometimes life throws us a curveball, or in my case, like 15 curveballs, right? But we can always get back as long as we do it, leading with kindness towards ourselves, compassion towards ourselves, and empathy towards what we're feeling and where our energy levels are at. I would love to know in the comments if this is something that you think would be helpful for you, if you're willing to try it. And yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps this channel grow. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, which is insane and so exciting. And I would love to hit 1,000 before the end of this year. Share this with someone you think might find this helpful. I make new videos like this every single Friday. So until then, stay wild, stay weird, and I'll see you in the next one.